that humility often begets leadership. What do people say about you at your place of work, in your home, in the church, in your community? Are you that humble person? If you are, you would see that people easily make you rise to a position of leadership because they themselves know that they need that type of character to lead them, that type of spirit to be above them. I'm about to share with you practical things that Jesus taught me that completely changed my life. And these would also change your life as soon as you decide to implement them. Number one, you should pray like Jesus prayed. The Bible tells us of many different ways that Jesus prayed. First off, we see that he prayed repeatedly, consistently on a particular subject matter. When he was in the Garden of Gethsemane with his disciples, the Bible says he went to pray, he came back and met them sleeping, and he said to them, "Could you not watch with me 1 hour?" He went and returned 3 good times and met them sleeping. And we know that in that moment of prayer, he was saying to God, "If this is your will, let this cup pass over me. Otherwise, let your will be done." It is absolutely fine to pray for one thing in the morning and again in the evening. One thing today and again tomorrow. You can pray for your child this moment and again same time tomorrow. So it is fine to repeat in that sense because we know that Jesus himself said not to use vain words and repetition in the place of prayer like the Pharisees used to do. That is a different ballgame entirely. But we see the example that he left for us. He left us an example of consistently petitioning the heavens. For your heavens to be opened, for your prayers to be answered, there comes a time where you need to pray for one thing over and over and over. Next off, we see that Jesus prayed short prayers and Jesus prayed long prayers. The Bible records many times where Jesus went up to the mountain for the whole night, from night till dawn, right? And he went there to pray. So those were long stretches of prayer, but it also records a good number of short prayers. We remember when Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead. He simply said, "Father, I thank you that you always hear me. Lazarus, come forth." And that was it. Jesus could pray short because he had prayed long. The potency of short prayers, most times than not, come from your stretch of prayers in the secret place. Do not underestimate any of these two. If Jesus could do both, we are encouraged to ask for the capacity to do both. We also see that Jesus prayed alone and Jesus prayed with people. The Bible records many times where, and he went to the mountain, he went by himself, he secluded himself to pray alone. There are times where you call on God by yourself. It is a private matter. It is your place of intimacy with God. There are times where you need to pray with other believers. Again, the story of Gethsemane. The reason why Jesus called those disciples to be with him in the first place was to pray with him. He intended for it to be a sort of corporate prayer. We remember when Jesus fed the 4,000, the 5,000 people, and he prayed to God, to bless the bread. That was a form of praying in front of other people as well. So go for that prayer meeting in your church. Join the Zoom platform. Whatever opportunity you have to pray, please pray. Please pray. Right? You should stop secluding yourself from a time of prayer. You should make sure that the fire on your altar is constantly burning. Your personal altar, your family altar. Make sure that the light never goes dim. And of course, we know that Jesus prayed at night, Jesus prayed during the day. But 2, we should love like Jesus loved. We should ask for a heart of love. Jesus was love personified. Whenever he came in contact with someone, whenever he was told about a situation, he was love personified. We should ask God for the grace to love all men. Remember the story of the little children that came to Jesus. His disciples, trying to pull out honor and respect for their master, decided to tell these children away, to send them away. And the Bible says that Jesus was indignant, which means Jesus was upset at the disciples. He became angry in his spirit and he said, "No, let the little children come to me." So Jesus loved young, he loved old. The story of the Samaritan woman at the well, he didn't judge this one who had had 5 husbands, lived with different men and had a terrible lifestyle. The adulterous woman, he said, "He who has never had any sin, cast the first stone. Jesus approached men with love. Number 3, we should ask for a compassionate heart. Jesus was extremely compassionate. He was empathetic towards others. Whenever he met people in distress, he would approach from a place of compassion. The Bible says that Jesus rebuked that fever, and immediately she got up and she began to serve them. He was very, very compassionate towards other people. When Jesus healed the 10 lepers, every blind eye he opened, every other miracle he worked in the Bible, he did from a place of compassion. And this is how we should thread the face of the earth today. When we see those that need help, we should always seek to be compassionate. And finally, for the sake of this video, we should humble ourselves, even as Jesus was humble. The Bible says he was humble even to the point of death. He knew he was God, but he also knew he came on this earth for a divine purpose. And in all humility, he carried out full-fleshed purpose on earth. We should seek for that spirit of humility. He was extremely humble, which is why he could easily associate with the likes of us, with other humans on the earth. Despite our unbelief, our unfaithfulness, our mistakes, Jesus sought for himself men he could walk with, and he called them disciples. He began to train and to equip them, because at a point he knew he had to go and they were going to take over the baton of apostleship. Jesus was humble. He lived on this earth because he had the spirit of humility. You should realize that humility often begets leadership. What do people say about you at your place of work, in your home, in the church, in your community? Are you that humble person? If you are, you would see that people easily make you rise to a position of leadership, because they themselves know that they need that type of character to lead them. They need that type of spirit to be above them. Humility, many times than not, begets leadership. So if you're praying for this, or if you're already in the position of leadership, you need more and more and more humility. That would help you to keep your position and to stand fast in the times of trial. I want to believe this video has blessed you. If it has, thank you for watching. This is Grace with the Grit. I film about faith, and I inspire people to be much more productive. Make sure to like and share this video. Be a blessing to someone else. Do not forget to subscribe on your way out. Until I see you again, have a lovely, lovely day. Cheers.